You may have heard of wellness action plans, but not yet know what one is. This is a short video about the what, why, when, how, and who of wellness action plans. There's another video about stress risk assessments with Ben and Jay from the South region that you can find on the wellbeing pages of Saltaire. So, first things first, what is a wellness action plan? It is a set of questions that we ask ourselves so that we can tell someone that we trust how to support us when we are not well, or if we feel that we are getting worse in some way, mentally or physically. But a wellness action plan reminds us what we need to do to stay well. Specifically, we use it at work, in a work context, but it can be used elsewhere, and it is something that we can share with our line manager so that they know how to support us. So wellness action plans are useful when they're used in consensual and reciprocal relationships of trust and recovery. So it's important that you do this with somebody that you trust. When do you do a wellness action plan? Ideally, you complete the wellness action plan when you are well, and from this perspective, you can say, I know that this has helped me recover, and this has helped me maintain a desired level of mental health, and so it can help me get back to where I want to be. Then we can notice whether things are slipping, and we can ask for the support we need in the way that we want it to be asked. Why would we do a wellness action plan? When we're not well, we might be one of the last people to notice what our signs and symptoms are. And because of internalised stigma, which is another word for that is shame, our mind plays tricks on us and we might not be able to notice how we're doing. So by knowing in advance and telling someone that we trust, it makes it easier to ask for help if and when the time comes that we need it. Who should do a wellness action plan? A wellness action plan is completely optional, but everyone can and maybe should do a wellness action plan. I've done one, my boss has done one, done them as teams, and not just someone who knows or openly manages their mental health should do a mental health or wellness action plan, but it can be really helpful to share as a team. So, for example, in a workshop I did with Scottish Forestry at their request, we discussed in an honest and open space what our wellness recovery action plan would be. And one person shared that when they get stressed or something's going on at home and they're not sleeping, they become very irritable, and that they're aware that that might not be very conducive for work, and that might have affected their colleagues. And their colleague in this workshop shared how helpful it was to know that this person was self-reflective and aware that that was a symptom that they showed in these times. And so now she knew how to ask and how to support her colleague. So instead of saying, hey, you're being really ratty, what's going on? She knew to say, hey, remember that workshop we did where you said that sometimes when you're not feeling very well, it's because you're not sleeping? I'm wondering how your sleep is at the moment, and you might not want to talk to me about it, but if you do, I'm here. So we're creating the option for people to approach us in a way that feels supportive to us. When wouldn't you use a wellness action plan? A wellness action plan is an individualised approach to mental health and well-being. If there are sources of pressure that are causing stress in the workplace, then a stress risk assessment or a survey of a part of the organisation or the team might be more appropriate. But for an individualised approach, a wellness action plan is the one for you. For example, when I'm not well, my hair might be a mess, I might lose weight, I might put on weight, but I don't want my manager to say those things. But one thing that I've put in my wellness action plan would be for them to say to me, hey Bridget, I haven't seen you laugh for quite a while, and you said recently that can be a sign that you're not doing so well, and I just wanted to check in. So that's an example that I hope is helpful for you. How do you do a wellness action plan? So this is the nitty-gritty of the how to do it. There are several ways to do a wellness action plan. Ideally, if you feel comfortable to just take the questions that are in the form and just raise them with someone you trust, then you don't need to write them down, you don't need to do any kind of paperwork, you don't need to keep a record of this. But alternatively, if it makes you feel safe and if it's something you want to practice with, then you can fill out the form alone first and then bring up the answers, the ones that you feel comfortable to share, with your line manager, with peers at work, colleagues, friends and family. There might be some things that you share with friends that you don't share with people at work. And there's a guide for line managers on how to use a wellness action plan in a supportive way, which is available by Mind, and that's on Saltire too, and I'd highly recommend reading that if you're supporting somebody to conduct a wellness action plan. And you might want to consider doing one for yourself so that you can tell them too what your signs and symptoms are and what behaviour you might show and how they can be supportive to you. How else can you do a wellness action plan? If you're feeling creative and you want to go away from the questions and you want to create something that can really be a prompt and to keep you well, then something that I did for myself as part of a workshop recently was to create a toolkit, a sort of self-care toolkit where I wrote down all the things that I know keep me well or help me recover if I'm unwell. And this way, next time you need a reminder, it'll be there available to you in a safe place. So you might want to take a box or put a paper around a shoebox and put it under your bed, or you might want to take old National Geographic magazines and cut them up and write down all the things that keep you well. Write a list, maybe chop those up, put them in the box, or just keep it as a list and make it as aesthetically pleasing or as logical as you desire. And it can be as simple as very seemingly basic self-care activities that when you're not well might be difficult, such as brushing your hair or your teeth, to asking for help, to saying I'd like a hug today, or going for a run, or taking a bath, or it can be kind of more abstract than that maybe, but might be a reminder for you to have the courage to say no to something that day, or to invite somebody for a cup of tea, or to forgive yourself for one of the things that you're holding a resentment against for whatever reason. The aim is that we can go beyond seeing behaviours in other people as symptoms that they're bad at their job, or they don't know how to manage themselves or others, or rather that maybe something's going on for them at home or at work and they haven't felt able to raise that yet. Essentially, the more honest and personal you can make your wellness action plan, the more useful it will be for you, and then the more honest you feel able to be with others, the more they can help you when you need it the most. And it should be easier once you've done a wellness action plan to raise it with others. So if you'd like support to start that conversation, then you can contact the Health, Safety and Wellbeing team or anyone in the people team for advice to arrange for them to come and help you get a grips with the wellness action plan or the stress risk assessments, or to facilitate the conversation. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy it and give any feedback that you need. We're here to support you.